Guys, welcome back to this channel. Today I'm talking about Bobi Wine in Boston. Yes, the Boston convention is on, and I am kind of jealous because I'm stuck here in California. I would have loved to be in Boston for this convention. I've only attended one. Conveniently, it was here in California when Bobi Wine came. It was a very, very special moment, of course. It's always a special moment whenever he is over here. Even when he's far away, you could feel the energy. It was so hard for me to get time off for me to travel to Boston and hang out with the people over there. But I'm going to do my best to give you updates about what is happening and what this means, especially for Ugandans in the diaspora. When it comes to the international community and how Bobi Wine, Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, the president, the people's president, when it comes to his international interactions, the scrutiny into these interactions is so hilarious. It is so hilarious. I mean, if you're to tune in right now, I guess, and you're following the likes of Full Figure, NRM Apologists, and you just go over to their channels or just tune into their television station, Salt, and maybe you follow Gashumba, all NRM apologists. They are talking points. It is crazy how these individuals don't feel that these are tired arguments that they are using when it comes to Bobi Wine's interactions internationally. Yes, when it comes to this, it is crazy. But that is their job. Their job as apologists is to make sure that you're stuck in a deep sleep. But thankfully, on this channel, we are the Uganda awakening, and we are the awoken people, the people who are waking up, the people who have chosen to deeply understand what happened to our country, Uganda. And what can we do? Is there any hope for Uganda beyond Museveni? Is there any hope? So if you're new here, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Omufirika. I go by Omufirika. And if you'd like to get to know a lot more about me, you can follow me at Omufirika on my Instagram. But the Uganda Awakening also has an Instagram. You can follow. But remember to subscribe. Believe it or not, your subscriptions are very, very important for this channel. We are growing slowly but surely. I was hoping by this new month, which is August, that we would have had like close to 500 subscribers. But we are almost halfway towards, halfway to that goal. It is my dream that I will get as many subscribers on this channel as the viewership, because when you look at the average viewership of the videos that I am sharing with you, you will quickly notice that a lot of the average viewership easily triples the subscription that we have on this channel. So help me out. It helps to push these videos into more people's, towards like-minded individuals that are looking to have conversations of, honest conversations about the state of affairs of our country, Uganda. So anyway, let's get right into it. Why is it important for Bobi Wine to hold these kinds of meetings, the diaspora? I'm going to read straight off the website, just to give you a brief about what is happening in Boston. He has just he came straight from Canada, where he had, more interactions. I should have done something about Canada. I don't know how I forgot. I had the title written down. I wanted to research. I wanted to look into the content that came from across the other side of Canada our dear neighbors, and what Bobi Wine got to do. Yeah, we'll do that. Anyway, it states on the website of the NUP that our annual convention provides a platform to reflect on our shared journey and strategize for the future. In Washington, D.C., we examined the critical relationship between Uganda and the Western world, discussing how these partnerships can influence democratic change while balancing national interests with the rights and freedoms of the Ugandan people. In Chicago, we painted a vision of what a new Uganda could look like post-Museveni. In Boston, we aim to reignite the passion and responsibility of the diaspora as catalysts for transformative change. After 38 years of authoritarian rule, we must unite and equip ourselves with strategies, resources, and determination needed to support Uganda's transition to democracy. We encourage every Ugandan in the diaspora and friends of Uganda to attend and actively participate in the pivotal gatherings. Together, we can build a roadmap for liberation and ensure a brighter future of our country. Now, that is what is going to be happening in Boston. But one thing I wanted to start with, I wanted to look into the arguments, like I started this video about why people question the interactions that, Bobi Wine has with the international community. I recently saw a video of an apologist. I think he calls himself Gatalikos. No, he was talking about the popularity of Bobi Wine in the diaspora and the welcome. He made some very interesting points, of course, which he stated that, yes, it is very, very clear that Bobi Wine is so popular in the diaspora and that Ugandans get so energized, they get so excited, they welcome him in droves and with all the support, all of them clad in red berets and overalls and everything to ensure that they make a statement of intent that they have caught the vision of this man. But all that fanfare amounts to nothing because the diaspora is not empowered enough. It's not even included when it comes to the electoral process. They are not voters. Those are not votes. And he is right. Those are not votes. We cannot vote. Right now here in the US, I cannot cast my vote, even if I would have loved to. Other countries, I think Kenya, they put provisions for their people in the diaspora to vote. He was making that argument. It also allowed me to reflect because I wanted to delve deeper into the arguments. And there are more arguments about why people feel that this is wastage of time. This man is Omufirika. He's just out here mobilizing funds for himself to enrich himself. They forget one important detail, that without the diaspora, especially without the diaspora, there is every possibility that Bobi Wine during the Arua fiasco could have been dead by now. The plan was to eliminate this man, but the diaspora rose up in arms and riots and, of course, demonstrations, as well as the activity on social media was so critical at that time for this man's life to be saved. It was very clear that when they shot at his driver, the intention was to kill him, to kill Bobi Wine, not the driver. Everyone knows that. Yasin Kauma was not supposed to be, was it Yasin Kauma? I am sorry if I am mixing it up with the bodyguard, but you know it. You know the driver was unalived in Arua. It could have easily been Bobi Wine. The critical role that they played in making sure that the international communities they woke up, they were now attentive to this situation. It was not just an isolated situation. Of course, Ugandans on ground, they built the base on which on which this pressure for the release of Bobi Wine at that time. This man could have easily become history. We have seen the ruthlessness. We have experienced, we have witnessed the ruthlessness of the NRM. So in that regard, the trend of the diaspora noticing that it is no more, are we going to just look the other way while our country burns in ashes? And another argument I have, of course, that is me giving you such a feedback for you to understand why this trip for Bobi Wine is very important. There is so much that has happened in the diaspora over the years where the NRM has built such a footprint. And unfortunately, many people have been led to believe that there is hope for Uganda under the dictatorship of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, under the authoritarian rule of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, which is why for the narrative to change, coinciding with the rise of the People Power movement and Bobi Wine especially, it has obviously gotten people out of their comfort zones. Why do you think that so much funding has been released to win over the influence of voices that were so vocal during the rise of Bobi Wine? There is this guy that I used to follow. I think there are so many voices that spoke in support of Bobi Wine. This guy, in fact, he was a former employee of NBS television. Why do I forget his name? Anyway, I'm talking about individuals who have such a huge platform. Just right after the election, the dude now started attacking Bobi Wine because these people now were bought out. There's one called Mindset. I think, there's one called Mindset. And it changed his tone. Why do you think that all of a sudden happened? Why? Because there are so many people that were now targeted and the government spent so much money. Even this guy of Agataliko Snow, he also came in camera trying to find audience with Salim Saleh. Why do you think that is the case if the diaspora is not important to the freedom of Uganda? This is what it actually means for Ugandans. Another reason why these arguments are so tired, like tired argument, is because even when Museveni was mobilizing support, his guerrilla war, the war that got him into power, was known exclusively driven by local entities. Sweden, where his family was. For him to change the government or to overthrow the government, it cannot easily become an exclusive matter for the local entities. It is very important that Museveni's narrative of Uganda is so comprehensive in the sense that if you were naive in thinking that for him to lose his power, we are just going to demonstrate just along Arua Park. No, that's not going to be the case. Kiseka Market, no, that is in itself not enough. This man gets so much funding from this international community, and the rise of the People Power movement as well as all these activities of the diaspora have been very, very important in undermining the influence of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Because of this, everyone, it does not matter where you live. I am right here talking about Uganda, not because I don't have stuff to do here. Like I need, in fact, I'm preparing to go to work in the next 20 minutes. What I'm trying to basically mean, there's a lot for me to do to completely forget about what is happening in Uganda. But everything that happens in Uganda impacts us directly. If I wake up and decide that I'm going to be sending money to Uganda, And all over a sudden, a new tax has been introduced. Like remember the TOT when they started taxing social media? All over a sudden, those taxes, the abnormal increments in power and everything that happens that is so unnecessary simply because they are raising money to just sustain one man's ambition and to increase the budget, the miscellaneous budget of the state house. Every decision, every payout, every handout that your parliamentarians get, it impacts on the households of every Ugandan. So if I'm sending money, it's also going to impact on me. It's also going to impact on me. So we cannot, as a diaspora, just look on and think that, oh yeah, this is, yeah, as long as I send these people money, I'm just going to keep quiet about the politics in my country. So there is that. I will need to do a second part. It's already a long video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions about Bobi Wine's visit here in Boston, I'll be sharing his speech here and we will be breaking it down. I have another video of him in Canada that I think I will also, I'm almost tempted to do 3 videos next week. But if you're new here, remember I post twice a week, on Tuesday and on Saturday. So remember to subscribe and put on that notification bell and let me know what you think about this video and why is it important for the awakening of Ugandans. Yeah, ciao. If you've not watched my previous most recent video, check it out.